Ciao, ciao, bambina.
Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Rita and today I'm going to show you how easy it is to make ravioli. We are going on a culinary vacation to Amalfi Coast, namely to the island of Capri. I have something so delicious and Italian for you. Today I'm going to make ravioli filled with spinach and ricotta, flavored with pine nuts and little nutmeg and homemade pesto. The best filled pasta I've ever eaten was on the Isle of Capri, where I was 2 years ago, in a really cozy restaurant called Ristorante da Paolino. You sit there in a beautiful, gorgeous garden full of lemon trees, and it smells of lemon blossoms surrounded by beautiful blue water, so that you really get hungry. And I show you, look up there so you can see how beautiful it is. And the ravioli I ate there, they were so delicious, so I thought I have to do it myself. And now, homemade ravioli taste best like in Italy, I'm gonna show you today. So let's get into it. The ingredients for our pasta dough are for 4 persons: 400 grams of flour, type 00, 4 large eggs, olive oil, half a teaspoon of salt. For our pasta filling we need 300 grams fresh spinach, 250 grams ricotta, an egg yolk, 30 grams roasted pine nuts, 1 tablespoon of butter, 40 grams freshly grated Parmesan cheese, 2 tablespoons olive oil, peel of an organic lemon, a clove of garlic, shallot, nutmeg for taste, salt and pepper. For homemade pasta you need the following kitchen equipment: a stand mixer with a dough hook, pasta roller, grater, a baking brush, a sieve, a garlic press, a dough wheel and a whisk. I use my KitchenAid stand mixer pasta attachment. First we're gonna make the pasta dough now, and as a small rule of thumb for the quantity calculation per person, we calculate 1 egg per 100 grams of flour. Now we take the whisk, and before we put all the ingredients into the mixing bowl, we beat the eggs separately. Now we add all the ingredients, first the flour, the eggs, olive oil and the salt. Now we switch the stand mixer to a low speed and mix up all the ingredients into a firm and slightly sticky dough. And now we speed up the video a little bit so it doesn't get boring. Now we switch to speed level 2. If your dough is a little too firm, add some water. You should knead the dough really well for about 10 minutes, so it is subtle tacky, not sticky ball of dough. Add some flour on the working surface. Now knead the dough a little and take a piece of plastic foil. Wrap the ball of dough and let it rest for at least half an hour at room temperature. For our spinach ricotta filling, we're gonna start with cutting some shallot and garlic. Finely chop the shallot into small cubes and put the garlic aside. Switch the stove to medium heat and add some butter and olive oil. And now we saute our garlic and the shallot in the pan, pressing out the garlic with the garlic press. We sweat the shallot and the garlic until they are glossy. Now we can add the spinach and stir it. The spinach should be steamed for about 4 to 5 minutes and then it's ready. We turn the stove off now, and the next step is very important. We put the spinach into the sieve and squeeze the excess water out of the spinach. This is important for the filling. And now we roast the pine nuts until they have a nice and golden brown color. Place the spinach on the chopping board and chop finely with a knife. Now add the egg yolk and the ricotta to the spinach. And now half of the pine nuts to the filling and save the rest for serving later. And a little black pepper and a nice sprinkle of salt. And now a little of my favorite not so secret Italian ingredient, freshly grated nutmeg. And now for the boost of freshness we add some lemon zest. And please make sure that it's the outer zest. And now comes our Parmigiano Reggiano. Mix until all the ingredients are roughly combined. Cover it and put it in the fridge until we are ready to use it, because for now we are gonna roll out our pasta. We take the pasta dough, flour the working surface and cut our dough into 4 pieces with a dough cutter. We now put a bowl of dough aside. The rest we wrap in foil and put it in the fridge. We attach the pasta roller now and press the ball of dough a little so that it fits better into the roller. And switch the KitchenAid to speed 2. Flour the roller and roll the dough several times at step 1 of the roller. Then fold the dough lengthwise and slide it through the roller again. We want long, thin sheets, so we are gonna start by rolling once, then folding over, rolling again, and repeating as necessary until your dough is super smooth. Now the dough is gradually rolled out, thinner and thinner. I do this up to step 5 until the pasta dough is thin enough for ravioli. Now I switch it to the next higher level, and if the dough is too long, simply half it and roll it again. Wow, that looked really great! And now we take the egg, whisk it and put it aside. Now we spread the filling a few centimeters apart over the whole length. And now we take the baking brush and moisten the edges of the dough and the gaps. Now we take the second dough sheet and put it very carefully on it, press it lightly and try to squeeze out the air bubbles inside. Always press gently on the edges. And now I take my little Cinquecento dough wheel and drive over it. And now form quite nice squares, fulfilling them into that signature ravioli shape, which is so much fun, as you can see. And we repeat this process until there are enough ravioli for everyone. Our pasta looks really great. It's actually no problem at all that they are a bit different in shape. They're just handmade. And now we can cook our ravioli. To do so, we add to the boiling water a teaspoon of salt and let the ravioli slide carefully into it. Do not let the water boil anymore, but let the pasta draw until they have flowed upwards, then they are ready. I set the pot aside, place a pan on top and melt the butter in it and add the basil leaves. Instead, you can also use sage leaves. With a sieve spoon, we can now toss the cooked ravioli and our basil butter, add a little pasta water and start serving. For this, I use my homemade pesto, and if you want to know how to do pesto, I leave you a link above. And now we add a little more of our basil butter, a few blobs of our pesto, a few pine nuts and some leaf of basil. And now we can taste some. So delicious. Soft and nutty. And you see the filling, how great it looks, and a little wine to go with it. By the way, my absolute favorite wine of the summer, a great rosé I enjoy here, from Provence, 2017 Miraval, a perfect match with ravioli, with spinach and ricotta. As you have seen, homemade pasta is really easy to make. I think it's wonderful to do it together with friends. One makes the dough and the other the filling. And as for the filling, maybe you have your own ideas or recipes. I'm very glad to share my recipe with you. My recipe for ravioli you will find in the description below. If you have got any question, please write me in the comment field. I hope you have enjoyed these recipes that I've shared with you today. Hopefully it gives you some ideas for an Italian dinner. If you did enjoy my video, give it a thumb up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Wish you a wonderful day. Yours Rita from Berlin.
Ciao, ciao, bambina, un bacio ancora e poi per sempre.